They sense lies even before words are spoken. They see the essence of a person, even when he puts on masks. They cannot be deceived by flattery, nor confused by illusions, because their internal antenna is aimed at the truth. These are the most insightful zodiac signs, possessing an innate gift to see deeper, feel stronger, and understand earlier than others. In this video, you will learn which signs are endowed with a truly magical ability to recognize intentions, hidden emotions, and secret motives. Their intuition is like the heightened vision of the soul, and their mind is like a blade cutting through the fog of delusions. If you want to know if you are one of those who cannot be lied to, watch to the end. Subscribe to the channel if you feel that the theme of the power of reason and intuition is close to you. Write in the comments whose gaze you have never been able to deceive in your life. Perhaps this is a representative of one of these signs. Let's begin. And yes, there will be no flattery here, only the truth. The first sign is Libra. Libras have a cold type of insight that is rarely taken seriously by others. While everyone thinks that they are dealing with a soft and pleasant person, Libra has already made an internal assessment, calculated everyone's weak points, and made a silent verdict. This is not intuition in its classical sense. This is analytical insight brought to an absolute level. Libra can analyze human behavior like an engineer lays out a device, with precision, without emotion, according to a diagram. This is why they are rarely mistaken about people. At first, it seems that Libra is naive or indecisive. But it is precisely behind this facade that a keen observation is hidden, restrained by strategy. Libra never draw conclusions out loud. They look, record, remember, and wait. They have no desire to demonstrate their understanding, but if the situation requires it, they will take out everything they have noticed, like a stack of documents, and present it without a single mistake. This ability to see the character structure is a dangerous quality, especially in the hands of those who do not seek confrontation, but simply know. Libra's insight is especially evident in conflicts. They will not shout or argue. They will silently watch the reaction, analyze every word, remember who behaves how in weakness or strength. They easily calculate the true reasons for actions, even if a person hides behind logic or emotions. Libra instantly understands when there is uncertainty, when there is manipulation, and when there is an outright lie. And they will not argue. But they will draw a conclusion, and it will be impossible to change it later. Representatives of this sign read not only people, but also processes. Libra is able to sense in advance which way the relationship is developing, how the situation will develop, what exactly will become the catalyst for a future conflict. Their mind does not just observe, it models. They anticipate the reaction. They mentally put a person in different situations and understand how he will behave. This makes them almost impervious to deception. Libras pay special attention to details that others ignore. They care about intonation, wording, eye movements, hand positions. They pick up on micro signals that no one else pays attention to, and based on these signs, they build an accurate picture of intentions. They don't jump to conclusions, but as soon as something fits into the overall picture, they act. Most often, quietly, effectively, without warning. Libras can see conflicts before they flare up. They can determine who is unstable in a group, who will provoke a crisis, who will betray. They are silent, but they already know. That is why it is difficult for them to trust people. They see too clearly who is in front of them. This clarity leaves no room for illusions. And although they strive for harmony, their insight never sleeps. Even in love, they read signals that suggest there is a distance, doubt has appeared, something is hidden. And if Libra decides that the essence is clear, this decision is irreversible. They don't always talk about their observations, but at the right moment, they can lay out a chain of events, phrases, looks that no one remembered, and prove their case with mathematical precision. This is not empathy. This is a cold scanning system that turns on automatically. Libras do not seek to expose, they just want to understand. And when they understand, they act. Their strength is not in pressure. It is in the fact that they know who is who, even before others understand it. And they continue to smile. The second sign is Leo. No one is able to instantly read a person's intentions as a representative of this sign. From the first seconds of communication, he sees lies in intonations, insincerity in a smile, and hidden motives in every movement. Leo does not guess. He just knows. This knowledge is in his blood, in his nervous system, in every millimeter of perception. He sees more than others, because he knows how to keep his distance and not let those who are false into his field. In the business sphere, his insight is a tool that brings not only authority, but also direct benefits. He always feels when a partner is ready to make a concession, when a client is lying, when an employee is trying to hide something. Where others spend months finding out, Leo makes a conclusion in a matter of seconds. He hears the essence behind the words and instantly catches the essence of what is happening. This allows him to avoid mistakes, betrayals, unprofitable deals, and unnecessary investments. In personal relationships, he will not waste time on those who are playing a game. Leo sees feelings even in silence, and falsehood even in beautiful confessions. It is impossible to deceive him, because he notices not words, but motivation. He reads the energetic direction of actions and understands in advance what any interaction will lead to. This makes his choice accurate, and a breakup inevitable if the partner loses sincerity. In companies, Leo instantly determines who is sincere and who is hiding behind politeness. He knows how to be silent when necessary, and speak in such a way as to knock the masks off other people's faces. One look is enough for him to feel where the strength is and where the pretense is. He is not afraid to enter into confrontation if he senses deception. His speech becomes precise, his arguments are impenetrable, and his actions are consistent. Leo can bring out hidden conflicts and start cleansing processes where everyone pretends that everything is fine. Leo's insight is especially evident in moments of instability. Unlike others, he does not get lost. He does not panic, does not seek support, but analyzes. His instinct for self-preservation works in conjunction with logic, and this is what allows him to calculate the behavior of others in advance. He knows who will break, who will save themselves at the expense of others, who will betray, and who will go all the way. And it is thanks to this knowledge that he always finds himself in a winning position. It is impossible to manipulate Leo. He instantly recognizes emotional blackmail, attempts at pressure, hidden requests, and veiled accusations. His mind singles out the poison in the wrapper of care, and he knows how to respond harshly, clearly, and without unnecessary words. He never becomes a victim of other people's intrigues, because he himself chooses what to believe and what to reject. His internal system of filtering the truth works flawlessly. Leo is not just smart, he is observant to the limit. He notices the smallest changes in behavior, intonation, look. He remembers how a person spoke yesterday and how he speaks today. Any discrepancy immediately falls into his field of view, and he instantly draws a conclusion. His intuition is not mysticism, but a well-honed mechanism based on vast experience. He analyzes faster than he realizes, and the result of this analysis is almost always accurate. He is not interested in appearances. He never falls for a beautiful wrapper. He sees the content. And if it is empty, he leaves without regrets. He does not allow flattery to influence his opinion, because it is important to him not what they say, but how they act. He evaluates by actions, not by decorations. This makes his judgment fair, and his decisions unshakable. Leo's insight is armor through which lies cannot pass. This is not vulnerability, but strength. Thanks to it, he builds honest relationships, creates reliable alliances, makes the right decisions, and goes through life without illusions. He sees the world as it is, and that is why he is able to control it and not be a toy in the hands of others. The third sign is Gemini. Gemini representatives have insight that manifests itself in the absolute speed of thinking and instant processing of any behavioral signal. They don't need time to understand who is in front of them. One phrase, one look, one awkward movement is enough. And Gemini already knows what a person is hiding, what he really thinks, and how he will act in a stressful situation. This intellectual lightning speed is not just a character trait. It is an innate radar, precisely aimed at reading intentions and weaknesses. They are not intuitive in the classical sense. They are analytical to a microscopic level. Their consciousness works like a complex processor that instantly records inconsistencies in behavior, the logic of words, intonation, discrepancies between gestures and meaning. And all this in real time. You can't fool them with compliments or external gloss. They will quickly determine where the falsehood is, where the manipulation is, where the attempt to hide the truth is. That is why Geminis are often the first to see that there is something completely different behind a person than they are showing. Gemini's insight is enhanced in dialogue. In a conversation, they do not just listen, they analyze every detail, every glitch in speech, every pause. They ask questions, not because they do not know the answer, but because they want to see how you will get out of it. Their questions are a tool with which they reveal the truth. At the same time, they do this with a slight smile, as if they are simply interested. And this is where their strength lies. Geminis are especially dangerous in situations where someone is trying to use them or hide their true motives. At such moments, they do not respond with open conflict. They act precisely, dryly, and rationally. Their strategy is to reveal the essence, destroy the illusion, and make the interlocutor feel that he has been exposed. They do not need evidence. Logical analysis is enough for them to create a complete portrait of intentions. The difficulty of communicating with Gemini is that they understand more than they say. They do not reveal all their observations. They keep some information to themselves to use at the right moment. This makes them especially dangerous in negotiations, discussions, and clarification of relationships. They do not leave room for a double bottom. If something needs to be clarified, they will find it out, and the person himself will not notice how he was exposed. Gemini has another side of insight. They instantly grasp opportunities. Where others see only chaos, they notice the prospect. They feel when to act, when to remain silent, when to give in to win later. Their mind is flexible, agile, instantly adapting to changes. This is why they maneuver so successfully in difficult situations. Where others are lost, Gemini builds a plan. The insight of this sign is also manifested in social adaptation. They know what to say to win favor. They feel what words will inspire trust, what actions will make an impression. And they do all this, not out of flattery, but because they understand how human psychology works. They notice hidden desires, fears, weaknesses, and know how to deal with them. Geminis do not always demonstrate how deeply they see, but at the right moment, they use their observations with surgical precision. Their intellect never sleeps, and even in the lightest conversations, they build logical chains, cut out the unnecessary, and get to the essence. Their insight is a weapon that works silently, but with maximum efficiency. The fourth sign is Taurus. The representative of this sign has a special type of thinking, in which logic and intuitive observation are combined into one. Taurus does not act at random. He looks, listens, analyzes, remembers. His mind, like a radar, instantly notes any deviation from the norm: tone of voice, pause, look, hand movement. He will not say right away, but will draw a conclusion. He will not accuse directly, but will already know where the truth is and where manipulation is. At work, Taurus is the most dangerous opponent for those who build intrigues. He does not enter into emotional games. He collects facts, accumulates arguments, and then acts. His silence always says that he sees more than he shows. He does not allow himself to be deceived, because he always knows that behind a smile there is discontent, and behind a compliment, an attempt to influence. His insight is manifested not in conflicts, but in actions. He bypasses traps without getting caught, and chooses the most rational path to the goal. Taurus does not ask, he observes. He knows how to wait, bide his time, be patient until a person opens up. He does not rush to conclusions, but his inner intuition has already drawn up a psychological picture of the interlocutor. He cannot be forced to believe a lie if he has already sensed a catch. He may not show it, but he will be adamant in his decision. His intuition is the result of many years of observation and deep analysis of human nature. In relationships, he also has a keen sense of falsehood. He notices when feelings cool down, when words become empty, and gestures become mechanical. He will never ask directly, but his detachment will be a signal. He has understood everything. And if trust is lost, it is not restored. He does not forgive betrayal, because his insight leaves no room for doubt. He does not need proof, he just knows. In everyday life, Taurus may seem calm and even slow, but this is precisely his strength. While everyone is rushing around, he assesses the situation, calculates the consequences, finds weak points. He does not make decisions spontaneously, but when he does, they are infallible. He does not allow accidents, and this is also where his insight is manifested. Everything must be calculated, checked, confirmed. Taurus does not need confirmation of his rightness. He does not argue, does not prove, does not demand recognition. He acts. His behavior is a response to any manipulation. He can be silent, but at this time he is already planning how to neutralize the threat. And he does it calmly, accurately, without unnecessary noise. His strategy is silent observation, precise analysis, and timely intervention. Taurus's insight is especially evident in moments of instability. He does not succumb to panic. He does not believe in beautiful words. He relies on what he sees and feels. His inner intuition leads him along the right path, even if he goes against the opinion of the majority. He may look stubborn, but behind this stubbornness, there is confidence built on precise observation. No event, no detail escapes his attention. He remembers everything: who behaved how, who said what, when they fell silent, when they looked the wrong way. And he puts all this data together into a single picture that gives him an understanding of the essence of what is happening. He is always one step ahead, because he notices what others consider unimportant. Taurus is an invisible surveillance system built into a person. He does not need technology to recognize a lie. His eyes, ears, and mind do it flawlessly. He is not mistaken about people, because he knows how to wait for the masks to fall off themselves. And while others admire the bright cover, he has already understood whether it is worth something, and he acts accordingly. The fifth sign of Pisces. Pisces have insight built into their perception of the world from the very beginning. They do not analyze, they feel. Their insight is not based on logic, but on a deep ability to recognize the inner states of others. Pisces catch the mood, the emotional background, hidden motives, even when no one says anything. Their perception is so subtle that they read the atmosphere as if it were written on their palms. They do not need words to understand that a person is lying. They do not require explanations to guess what is hidden behind a smile. Their feelings are the tool with which they read reality. They are able to catch nuances that others miss. One tone, one gesture, one change in breathing, and Pisces already know what is really going on. Pisces' insight is the ability to see beyond the masks. They do not need to strain to recognize the essence. They look through the image that a person is trying to demonstrate and see what is hidden deep inside. It could be fear, uncertainty, anger, or envy. Pisces will feel it intuitively, and they will draw conclusions before anyone else. At the same time, they will not immediately make judgments. Their strength is in silence, in the ability to observe and wait. It is Pisces who most often know what will happen to this or that person. They have the gift of predicting the turns of fate. This is not mysticism, but the result of constant, deep reading of reality. They subtly feel who strives for what motives lie behind the actions, and what this will ultimately lead to. Their conclusions are rarely wrong, because they are based not on the visible, but on an internal response. The peculiarity of Pisces is that they do not destroy, do not expose. They just know. Their insight can remain invisible until the critical moment arrives. Then they will say the exact phrase, make the exact move, or leave without explaining the reasons. And later it will become clear. Everything they felt was true, and they acted one step ahead of the others. They also sense lies in intentions, not necessarily in words. Pisces pick up on subtle vibrations, when a person needs something, when he is afraid, when he is manipulating. And although they may not show it, inside they have already made a conclusion. This is precisely why it is difficult to play with Pisces. They see everything, even if they pretend to believe. Their insight does not require proof. It works flawlessly. Pisces are also capable of internal vision of processes. They can feel a change in the atmosphere in the team, a change in the energy of relationships, understand when a decline begins, and when, on the contrary, potential is growing. Their ability to sense subtle changes makes them practically invincible in difficult situations. They simply sense in advance where everything is going and have time to rebuild. Pisces' insight is not an attack, not an instrument of power. This is an internal mechanism by which they avoid mistakes, find the right people, and protect themselves from toxic influences. They do not need logic because their navigation system works on the principle of resonance. If something does not sound, then it is false, and they feel it with their bodies. That is why Pisces often become those who know more than they say. Their knowledge is quiet, deep, but absolutely accurate. And this insight is not an accidental gift, but part of their nature. They are born to feel the truth through the shells, and no one can deceive them.